Hello, this is Nathan, better known as CrazyhermitDM, and this is my podcast, The Hermit's Homebrew. Joining me today is Brent from Langeministudio as we talk about Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop gaming. Like a while back, I had asked on our my Instagram, and I think I had made you a collaborator on it about things that players don't hear podcasts or at least D&D creators talk about nearly enough. And this was every idea was really good. So a couple of the subjects besides that, obviously, one that I'm currently working on because it is a little bit more of a detailed thing was one of our closer friends, the Forever DM, actually messaged me in the inboxy, and he wanted to talk about high level play, especially when it comes to like Adventures League or organized settings, and how to even survive, I guess, in those type of adventures, you have to have an optimized build. It isn't just a for fun character. You have to be optimized, or I guess you're just
well, and especially in very organized or regulation play with something like Adventurers League.
Yeah.
There's zero homebrew. There is zero.
But you have to have.
You've got
to him, you have to have a build.
Yeah, you've got to have a proper build. You have to have the correct spells. There are certain spells in D&D that you must have. You must fulfill your role, and you must do it right. Otherwise, you're gonna get destroyed. Yeah.
I mean, like we have I guess you are a build. You're a Hexadin Paladin in our.
I'm
you're
following,
not optimized.
Yeah, I'm following a build, but I'm picking my own spells. I'm not following.
Tove started out as a rogue and then went druid because she found out rogue isn't what she wanted.
Yeah,
she's by no means an optimized build, but she still has fun with the character.
Yeah, absolutely.
I consider finally she has more levels in druid now than rogue, so she is officially more of a druid.
She's a druid, yeah.
I consider I do like the rule in Cyberpunk of like if you start out certain levels in one thing, you get called that, but if you multi-class into the new thing, that is what you're now known as.
That's what,
Like if you started out as a fighter and took 3 levels and then took 1 level of bard, now you are a bard.
Yeah. If you started out, you started as a solo, now you're a rocker boy. Yeah, exactly.
One of the other things that was brought to me in the inbox was talking about D&D etiquette. Also, 5-second side tangent. There's also another creator that talked on the comments themselves called Dungeon Master Mom, and she brought up a good subject of basically organizing play for a younger audience for kids, especially in a home setting or anything, and making it simpler for them to enjoy. And I am organizing that subject. It is actually a very broad subject, a lot more than I ever anticipated it being. And I got about 2 or 3 pages of a thing worked out of how I'd run it if I had basically, we can all be childish at the table, but we are not by far children.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I wanted to today talk about tabletop etiquette. And you and me have both been in a couple of campaigns together where we've seen, I consider this a good group.
Yes, absolutely.
Where etiquette, we get on our broach subjects and our ADD moments of distractions and all that.
Yeah.
But I consider us overall very good etiquette, other than occasionally we do get distracted.
Yeah.
It ain't something that's like deterring the game.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, it comes up organically. It's not like someone's forcibly injecting it.
Also been in, obviously, for us, I mean, there's maybe 2 to 3 players in that previous campaign where it wasn't more 2. 2 players that I consider to be, problem players or problem-ish players. If you are going to show more etiquette at your table and be a good player or a good game master for your table.
Yeah, because these will go both ways. Yeah.
How do you, in quotations, be a good player? It isn't just about being, a good person. It's about, being a good gamer.
Yeah, being a good member of your group, whether you're the player or DM.
We'll literally start at the beginning to me, and that's being considerate of others' time and showing that if for us, we play every other Saturday or attempt to if our lives don't come in
if
the
real
way.
life.
And we try and play about 6 o'clock, if not a little bit before. Sometimes it starts at 6:30 if people are running late, which is fine.
Yeah.
But sessions can often run for hours, and players have different schedules and commitments. And here's, to me, if you are showing up multiple sessions in a row, multiple hours late, or it's more than 10 minutes or 15 minutes, that's fine to me. I understand traffic or constantly just you're that type of person that just
construction because it's the summer,
we do live in the Omaha area, and there's a running joke of it's either summer or road, or no, sorry, it's winter or road construction season. And I'm sure that's the way a lot of it is throughout many seasons. Not seasons, but cities.
It's not just an Omaha thing. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It is a running joke in the Omaha area where we all are.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it just shows respect to your fellow players and your game master, dungeon master, overseer, whatever you're playing. If a session is scheduled to start at a certain time, try and aim there to be either a little bit early, not too early. Obviously, maybe not like half hour to 45 minutes early, because your game master could be,
finishing supper or whatever.
Supper or taking a shower, and then like their significant other, or you might be waiting at the door for a little bit if they live alone and they're in the shower. It's like, oh, well, I was in the shower. You're going to be waiting at the door.
Yeah, I didn't think you were going to be here a half an hour early. Yeah. Or whatever.
But also at the same time, don't be a half hour late.
Yeah.
Don't, I think there's only one time out of it will be 54 sessions whenever we get to play, hopefully this coming week. There's only been one time where you were late, and it was daylight savings time.
I was looking at the clock up on the wall. It was an analog clock. That's my problem. That was my fault. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we were actively getting ready. We were putting shoes on, grabbing bags to come over, and all of a sudden I get a text. Hey, are you guys okay? Are you going to be here?
I had actually sent you a text and hadn't got a response because I assumed you.
Yeah.
And then I called you, no answer, and I'm just like, well, I guess we'll give them,
Yeah, like, okay, something's going on here.
So I waited 15, 20 minutes and no response. And I'm like, Brent's been late before, 15, 20 minutes, either, because we've played on a Friday or another day where, like, Tove just got off work and then it was getting to back to there. You've just gotten off work because your schedule likes to shift around depending upon people and getting through traffic.
Yeah.
And the same for me. Like, we played for the longest time, our first 45 sessions where I got off at 5 o'clock, 5:30, and literally rushed over to Chase's before a tree fell on the house.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got this house before that, thankfully. And was there sometimes a little bit late. Not often, but I'd try and get off early on those days and, be there set up early. But we've all been a little bit late. But when you're the type of player that is chronically late, and there's not in my opinion, and I me as a person, I give people a lot of credit, sometimes more than where credit should be.
You do. You go.
I try and give people the benefit of the doubt.
You go lean
they don't
on us,
deserve it.
You go lean on us,
And I try, but when somebody's chronically late and there's really no stinking good reason why they should be, and I try and give them credit where credit's due, even though they don't deserve it, that's when it starts to grind on me a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's being part of a D&D group, especially when it meets in session, it's a social contract to where there's a lot of assumed things, there's a lot of caveats and whatever, and as you play with your group, you're going to learn what they are, and you're going to learn what's acceptable, what time frame is acceptable, what's not. But we making time out of our day and out of our lives to come together and sit down as a group to do this, show up on time. But that's not to say that stuff doesn't happen. In the age of the internet and social media and all that, It was the longest time that I forgot I had Nate's phone number because we communicate through Messenger, through Facebook Messenger. That's how we do 99% of our communication.
Either Facebook Messenger, Discord, or occasionally, because we're both our social media outlets are on Instagram.
Yeah,
we occasionally share reels back and forth.
Yeah, and it was probably like last year. I go, Nate, I don't think I have your number. And he goes, Yeah, you do. Like, what are you talking about? He goes, Yeah, you have my number.
And
he literally sent me a text message right in front of me, and it popped up. Oh, I guess I do have your number.
Same with Chase.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't think I have your number. Like, yeah, you do. We just communicate.
Don't
communicate through that.
So, send a message. Hey, I'm running late.
I've had like Chase send me screenshots of like people that have texted him, and it's like through the normal text. I'm like, oh, they're talking through actual text.
Like, oh, this is old school text. Oh, okay, cool, all right.
It's not even old school, but yeah, it's like, oh, this is just standard phone text.
This is just a standard phone text, yeah.
From like through any, I don't get to decipher. Well, what app's this through?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, this is just straight up. But yeah, like swap phone numbers, swap.
Yeah.
MySpace accounts, whatever.
I think the only person I don't have the phone number for is Tove, actually, surprisingly. But she might have mine. I think I gave it to her at the beginning of the campaign.
I think so, yeah. So yeah, where pass numbers around, pass your email or whatever, send a message. Just be like, hey, I'm on my way, stuff's running late. Or even if it's something like, hey, something came up, I can't make it tonight. Yeah. Don't leave people in the lurch so that they can at least move forward with the session, or we can delay it if necessary.
And there's a couple of people that like I haven't, gamed with for a long time, but I've gamed with a couple of times. Like punctuality is like a big thing for them. Like they get miffed if you're late.
Oh wow!
Like most of the time it was like not somebody I regularly play with, so I don't really bother. But you could tell like. And I'm always on time, like especially if I don't know the person or know the group that well.
If you don't know them.
I'm usually 10 minutes early. I'm that type of person. Always been that person, unless something literally happens on the way there.
Yeah.
And then I'm texting like, "Hey, I'm stuck in traffic." Or
flat tire, traffic.
Somebody literally just had a fender bender in front of me.
Yeah.
I've had that happen 2 times going to a game.
Yeah, I mean, life happens, and also on the other side, being considerate of others' time. If someone's running late, throw them a bone. Just don't come down on them unless it's, like you said, habitual or egregious. So if it's like multiple times of being a half hour to 5 minutes late, or it's, hey, you're 2 hours late and you didn't tell us what that's when you need to say something. But if they're, 10, 15 minutes late, cut some slack.
We're all pretty close to in our group.
Yeah.
As well. And I think I've teased you guys even just being for 5 to 10 minutes late. I've even made a meme about it on our account because that's how I keep the traffic going on my thing. Because obviously, I have a full-time job, I have a house, and a small zoo of animals to take care of, and so I keep the memes to kind of keep the traffic up. So I can't create the content. I don't have a Mr. Beast team of a dozen people to help me with that. It's all me myself,
Yeah, it's you.
I have obviously Brent here helping me with the podcast, and then Chase helps record it obviously, and he helps actually get us the connections to he's the whole reason why we went to Midwest Fest.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you got you those fancy content
you help
creator
with the podcast, and then I'm doing basically 90% of the podcast. So, but that showing up on time to me shows the actually sorry, I'll go back to what my point was. Is I made a meme of Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of the Kenobi series when Qui-Gon appears at the end and he's just like, oh, I thought you'd never show up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, are you serious? You know how long I've been out here? I'm sorry, I've been doing stuff.
Yeah. I think actually Kenobi says that to him. For all there's a couple major flaws to that TV series, but I do love it.
But to be honest, that fight between Vader and Kenobi when I watched a supercut of that fight where they took all the scene cuts out of it to other parts of the story. Oh my god, it was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
But I think being punctual, like I mentioned, some people take that as a big thing, and that shows a bit of respect to your fellow players and your game master.
It does.
You try and aim just to be prepared, and when you actually show up for the session, be prepared. Don't be that person that takes, oh, I forgot this or I forgot that. Every so often you forget your dice, or I've done that once and I felt totally like thrown off. Like, oh my God, I have my big DM bag because I'm going to Chase's and I'm searching through it. I'm like, I don't have my dice.
Whoa. Yeah.
And I'm a dice goblin. Like, I have a sack of dice.
Yeah.
Like, I probably have the biggest collection.
It's like a small pumpkin.
And then I also have literally a gumball machine of dice that I'm actually going to take to NewtCon to show off. Yes.
Cool. Nice.
But so be prepared already and have all the necessary materials you have at hand. If I'm coming to Brent's Fallout game, you better believe I have my bag with my game sheet or my laptop that has the digital game sheet on it and all that. The most he might have to wait for is like, well, hold on, my laptop's booting up.
Yeah, and
then
that's fine.
I go ahead and start.
Yeah.
You don't have to start because my thing's starting up because it decided to shut down from being in my bag.
Yeah. If you're a player, your player sheet, your dice, and a pen or a pencil.
Yeah.
You don't even need the books because chances are whoever's house you're at, they've already got a set.
I'm trying to think, like, throughout the campaigns we've been together, we haven't had anyone that was really terribly chronically late, but like that first campaign we were together, we were going over to someone else's house and playing it there.
Yep.
Like both of their places. And then with this, this one, obviously we played it chasing Vicky's, and then we started playing over here once I moved into this my new hermitage.
Yeah.
And I think we played at my apartment a little bit too once
we did.
in that transition, just to like, because like obviously we all, like me, Chase, and Vicky all work at the same place, so they were rushing to get their place together, and I felt like, well, I can get my, like, I don't have kids, I have animals, I can get all my stuff ready the night before and have the setup now that I have the space.
Yeah, and you can close the door, Yeah.
But yeah, thinking back, I don't think that's ever been a terrible problem for us. It's occasionally a one-off problem.
Yeah, every once in a while, yeah.
But it's never like been like a problem.
Yeah.
At least in my experience. Have you ever had that before? Like before we ever came together?
There was one time, going back to punctuality, it was a miscommunication or whatever, to where it was a game shop and they had a like, hey, we're starting at this time, we're looking at getting a campaign together. And I was like, yeah, sure, And so I said I would be able to be there, but I get off of work at 9. And I lived the next town over. So I'm like, it's going to be, 10, 15 minutes travel time. And they went, okay, that's fine. And so social contract, I get off of work at 9. I cannot be here sooner than say 9:20. Okay, cool. Awesome. I showed up at that campaign at 9:20. They were walking out of the store locking up. And I was like, oh, okay. And they looked at me and went, oh, you actually showed up. I was like, yeah, like we talked about. Oh, well, one of the other players got tired of waiting and left. Oh, okay. So yeah, and so it was kind of awkward. I went, well, I said I couldn't be here before this time, and the guy just kind of shrugged. I'm like, okay, you don't want to do this. Cool, whatever. And so I left. But it was one of those.
You had the arrangements made though.
Yeah, I'm like, but
you were a good steward.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Is like, hey, just so you guys know, I live probably 15 miles away and on the highway. And it wasn't interstate. It was highway. It wasn't interstate. So we couldn't go 70.
And I am probably going to be speeding to get here just because I feel bad about being
yeah,
late,
exactly.
Even though I'm being a responsible adult that has a job.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really awkward because I'm just like, well, so then why did we even talk about it? Why did you say it was okay if it wasn't going to be okay? So that I don't know. It still kind of like sticks in my craw a little bit, even though it was like 20 years ago. I mean, get over it, Yeah. But yeah, it's just kind of that's weird. So, and anyway, but that falls in the considerate time and everything. Like, we made this idea. If it's not gonna work, say so.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No harm, no foul. You don't even gotta have to worry about it. I could have gone and spent time with my girlfriend at that point in time. Now she's my wife, but back then my girlfriend. And like, oh, but no, I came here because I wanted to play D&D, and she wasn't involved in it at that time. So, oh, okay, cool. I guess I'm just gonna go home and go to sleep, I guess. Cool,
Yeah.
thanks. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah.
I guess when you are there, like, and this has been a problem for me of like trying to minimize the distractions.
Yeah.
Especially in today's age. Like, I understand some people, like, I use my phone, I use my laptop,
Yeah.
look up spells, and I understand answering texts when it's. But like, if I'm engaging in like role play with you,
Mm-hmm.
and like if I'm talking to Vicky, and then we're in the middle of the thing, and then she just right in the middle of her talking, she's holding up her phone. Not saying that she does,
No.
because she never has.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Yeah.
And then she puts her finger one up while she texts.
Yeah, the whole
then,
Archer. 1 sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that definitely it's jarring, and especially if you got something going on, and so and now it just changing gears like that. It does break the immersion. It breaks the flow.
Yeah.
Of you have in your mind, I'm going to talk about this. We're talking about this. We're going to say this because I know that she knows this, so she may come back with that.
I think.
But you're on your phone now.
And I think I mentioned even in our, because we did have a session 0 with this, because we played a couple sessions and that group fell apart, and we got you guys involved, and I'm like, hey, I don't mind cell phones being used. You guys already know this. Just try and keep it D&D related, unless for some reason somebody's calling you.
Yeah.
Or somebody, like, you do have to answer the text.
Yeah, because
we can't all help but check our phones or check time or
exactly
something out.
Especially as a DM, you're like constantly looking at time, like, as we have lives, and a couple people here have kids that they have to worry about, and
all that. And there are some every so often where we're role playing or that, or sometimes we get distracted on a side thing, even in game.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, they've been on this for about 20 minutes. Let's try and steer. Let's try and herd the cats back to where I wanted them to go.
Tove brings up, you're talking about minimizing distractions. Tove brought something up from our it was the first campaign I played with our old group, you and me and the others. Okay. It was I made the mistake of putting in these little golden dragon statues. They were solid gold because it's what the treasure thing. It was on the treasure list for 4th edition. Oh, cool! I'll use that. I mess up as a DM, but also I think the players are mainly to fault for this. Spent entirely too long trying to hawk those things off at the local shop, where they were wanting to carve in the bottom like 1 of 5, 2 of 5 to try to like pass it off that they were a set. Like these were a unique set.
I actually remember that now.
Yeah, and the dwarven shopkeeper was getting so irritated, and I remember other players kind of going, "Are we really doing this?" And that's when I saw phones coming out because no one wanted to be there except the 2 people trying to sell these stupid dragons. And as the DM, I learned from that. Okay, you've already rolled twice, and you failed both times. You're getting this money, or you're leaving. We're done. We have to move on.
I'm not giving you any more money. It's like, that's my final offer.
Yeah, and so me being an experienced DM, I let it go on.
We also had that type of person like where they thought, if they rolled a 20, it was an auto success.
It was an auto success no matter what.
Exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, and I don't play that way. Yeah. So
neither do I.
Yeah, and so like I said, distractions, and that's a distraction because, hey, we're going to get this money. Like, okay, no, you're going to get way more money going on the next adventure than you are going to sell these stupid golden dragons. And it's also more considerate of people's time. Yeah. Okay, no, we're not doing this. Let's go on that adventure instead of playing, the capitalism simulator. So yeah, as a DM, I'll take my hit on that one. I should have said something. I learned.
Unless you're, Toy Bar trying to sell off his business to a very, intelligent Minotaur, and we get into a round of Shark Tank and make everybody laugh because we're.
I'm sorry though. When it's Minos, you give him what he wants.
Yes.
Because he's Minos. Come on. Yes. He's cool.
And we're talking about equity in D&D.
Yeah, or medieval equity with property transfers. What are the what tax bracket are you in right now?
But that was a comedic part.
It actually was.
And that, on top of like limiting like phone use or limiting distractions, staying engaged when it's not your turn or trying to stay attentive to like the ongoing action. That way, when you're just not like, well, what do you think? And you hear automatically like, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I get that way because I have attention deficit disorder. That's my go-to response usually, like, huh? And, brain loads. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, you don't got to repeat it. I just have to, replay it in my head. Okay, now I have a response for you. Yeah.
It's not the only way that it just helps the game moving smoothly and also kind of shows respect to the other players.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it's showing respect.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all here to play a game and have fun.
And then, I mean, I know that's one thing I kind of want to do with whatever character I end up playing, like, in your next, like, Svartalheim campaign is I want to... That's part of the reason why I was thinking about playing a bard, not only just because I think it would be funny, just because you have, like, an antithesis for them, and I want to play the good bard. But they are a social character.
Very, yeah.
And I want to be able to be that person that's able to connect with each player at the table and have those moments and kind of help you as a game master, who I'm usually the forever DM, but I'm also helping the group role play and have those moments and not try and be the horny bard. I'm sure I'll have those moments, but
who doesn't?
But I'm also trying to help that story move along with either my bardic knowledge or my bardic charisma of like, hey team, let's...
Hey, while we were at that tavern and I was playing a song for everybody, I happened to talk to a couple of people and I think I learned something.
And you know what? When I was playing that song, it also jogged my memory that, did you know 13 years ago this happened?
Yeah, exactly.
I read about it in a book.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
I totally forgot about it till now.
Yeah,
I read a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that you can do socially that, bards don't have to have sex with everything.
No, they don't.
Jeez. It's not even built into the character.
No,
God.
it's not.
Anyway.
But,
sorry,
but
I'm losing my engagement.
Yeah. Staying engaged and mentioning ways like that of like figuring out ways to connect with each player at your table, as I just mentioned, leads to better role playing and decision making, I feel, especially when it's your turn.
Yes.
And then like in those awkward moments where, like, let's say you have a newer DM, like let's say like you were totally agreeing it's your first campaign ever and I am the forever DM that's played DMing for 15 years. What I'm going to do is try and help everyone stay engaged and help that DM be new. Occasionally, I might try and throw a curveball at them and say, "Here, I'm actually going to try and test you here, see how you do."
Yeah, you gotta learn, get that improvisation.
But at the same time, like, how many times have you or me over the decade or two that we've GM'd or played had those quests where you sit there and think, or you had a player, it's like, I don't know why I'm even motivated to be in this story.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah.
It was very hard with the Avernus campaign, by the way, to get everyone to have their individual
reasons to be here. Yeah.
I could actually probably go through it. It was Torvar got wrapped up into it because
I drug him along.
You drug him along, and then his parents, you found out, were somehow associated with this cult.
Mm-hmm.
Which
the cult was underneath the bathhouse that they owned. Yeah.
Vicky's celestial warlock, her god, kind of led her there, and then also, she's an investigator who's helping the law, and that just helped right away.
Oh yeah.
You were the quest giver's brother.
Yep.
Tove was the tricky one.
Yeah.
Tove
she
actually,
was. Yeah.
So I had to wrap that one because we had another rogue who was also a pirate, and I'm like, hey, your brother who, he knows how to work the law and work with people that are on the other side of it, and he goes, your captain has sent you here basically because this city's gone missing, and there's a good hunch that your city's next. These are the two major port cities of the Empire, or the Republic, sorry.
The Republic, yeah.
Of the Republic. of the Galactic Empire. No. But still, even if it was the Galactic Empire or the Republic, these are the two major port cities. If these cities go away, we're out of business.
Yeah, this region dries up. We have to go somewhere else. Yeah.
And this region's actually really good, and I don't want to move half world away.
Yeah, you've already got your contacts made. You've already got your safe areas. We don't go yet.
And that was pretty good motivation for Tove. And then, she halfway fell for Minos, which actually kind of...
Which helps. Yeah.
Who likes a big brawny minotaur who's a book nerd.
Yeah, exactly.
And loves history.
Yeah. God, the guy, and who everybody knows. He's got connections.
But, I want to, as a DM, get everyone engaged, or as a player, help that motivation of like, oh my God, so-and-so's in trouble. Like, I know we've only been adventuring for 2 weeks, but, we should care.
Yeah. And in real life, well, I'm not, like, if you look at, say, the movie Band of Brothers, or the series Band of Brothers, or the series The Pacific, you have a lot of random people shoved together into this unit to go fight a war, which, to be fair, is sometimes kind of what D&D players do, only on very small scale. These were completely random people that have completely random backstories. You've got farm boys, you've got city slickers, you've got everything, but now they're comrades, and they need each other to survive to get the objective done.
And that's the upside of Avernus, is it's a very active storyline.
Yes.
So you're reacting a lot, but if you're playing the stereotypical adventurer campaign where it's I'm an adventurer, this is my job, we're going quest to quests every other session, that's a lot harder. And I've played that type of campaign, and that's even a challenge for someone with my experience of keeping the motivation of. I mean, look at the jobs we work at. Oh, so and so's been working with us for 3 weeks. They're no call, no show. You're not going to go to their house and hunt them down.
No. Can't.
If you worked with them for 3 to 4 years and you knew they were, somebody that always showed up, they were good workers and all that, and they're no call, no show, and you were friends with them,
different story.
Then you'd probably be calling them, or you actually might show up at their house and like, hey,
I
don't care if you're quitting. I just want to know personally that you are okay.
Yeah. And if you're friends, you probably saw it coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like with me as in my role as a supervisor, if someone no call, no shows, I give them one phone call. Hey, you're 15 minutes late. Where are you?
I've done that a couple of times as a supervisor as well. I've given them the one call, and like there's a couple. I will admit, even as a supervisor, you do get emotionally attached to a couple of employees.
Oh, of course.
Where I'm actually calling on my personal cell and like, hey, you are always on time. This is me calling my personal phone, making sure you're okay.
Yeah.
And not like you haven't gotten to a wreck on the way to work.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Call me back. I'm assuming you slept in by accident. You can come into work. If not, you just call in for the day, and we'll make it that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm your supervisor.
Yeah. Like, if you work with me, I'll work with you.
Yeah.
Like, I can make this go away.
But
kinda.
Getting back to engagement before we get into being to me, that's being a good player.
Yeah, absolutely.
And working with the GM, working with the dungeon master, working with your other players to help that engagement stay, to make it in a more immersive game.
Yeah.
And that if you're the type of player that can help the GM, that you by far, or even if I don't know you right now, or you're on the other side of the screen listening, you are my best friend. Because as a dungeon master, game master, if you're helping your dungeon master, your game master, whoever, work to make the story better, because you want the best story possible for you and your friends, because it's a friend group, or you're all playing at a comic shop, even if it's just one-offs or an adventure league, and you're still just trying to do that just to be that player. My hat's off to you. I'll buy you a free drinking game or something.
Exactly.
And the barmaid will just come up and like on the house.
Yeah.
You can have this mead or whatever you want, whiskey or for some reason a lot of players like whiskey with the ones I play for some reason.
It's easy, it's common, and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
That's it. But yeah, also if with the engagement, if you're having a problem staying engaged, talk to your DM. There's nothing wrong with you being like, hey, I'm having a problem with engagement. Here is what I'm feeling. Don't attack your DM of like, oh, this is boring.
And I've had that happen. Like we've talked, and when you're the GM and you have a problem player to like, and you can tell they're having problems with engagement, and they literally tell you, "You've ruined my character."
That no,
like a big, the most overtop way of like reaction.
Yeah, I've ruined your character.
Yes.
No. No. I called bull. But whatever. Wasn't my character, I wasn't there.
The other like way like
that's messed
in
up.
my opinion, and we all do it. We've talked about it on the podcast before. I still do it. We've done this campaign a bunch of times. It wasn't ever detrimental to the campaign, or else I probably would have like, hey, you don't know that. But it's avoid metagaming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Chase did a little heavily with Zingshi, but never to the point to where he actually had it affect Toy Bar's decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Just Chase out of characters like, we do not want to face this guy.
Yeah. Yeah,
and I think it helped to build the tension though when Zingshi finally did appear.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually did. Because we had two players that had previously run into Zingshi before.
Yeah.
And
because he was a former player character.
Mm-hmm. And so that right there, a former player character that's now you're fighting against, raises a red flag right away because he's got player character levels. That means that he's going to be strong. He's going to have a build. He's going to have magic items that go into that build.
And stereotypically, like you really look at the monster blocks in D&D, they don't have magic items. They're just that way.
Yeah, they don't.
When you give like deep dwarves innately have basically enlarge and reduce. But if you were to give like, let's say an ogre, a potion of enlarge, and then all of a sudden he just pops it in the middle of the thing and then goes to huge instead of large.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that changes what you're going to do.
And it makes the players think,
yeah,
what else does he have? Because this is now what? Like, even with the metagamers, like when we've had those players before, me and you both.
Oh, yeah.
Of what else does this dude not have on his standard block if we're metagaming here?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
The DMs changed this.
Yeah, and that's why I really like because you do it and I've learned it from you, is changing, that stat block a little bit.
Yeah.
To where it still stays in flavor, on brand, all that fun stuff, but it throws a curve.
Yeah, the YouTube channel Nerdarchy put it the best way. I like Frankensteining monsters together.
Nice.
Just like, this, but it does this, and this from this monster, and then, but it can also do this. Oh, this is its weak point. I want to keep that because stereotypically, a troll should always be weak to fire, in my opinion.
Unless
you really want to throw a curveball of you throw this troll and then you throw out the saying because it will trigger a player of that had no effect on it.
It doesn't do as much damage as you thought it would.
That is my DM lingo for it has resistance, or if it has a damage immunity to something of. It walked right through it like it did nothing.
Yeah, and that's kind of the fun thing is also when you have a player that's metagaming when it comes to a monster, there's nothing that says you have to leave the monster the way it is. To where, it's a troll. I know it's going to be weak to fire and all this. Okay. It's a spell-stitched troll. It comes around the corner and it's got magic runes like etched into its undead flesh. That makes it immune to fire.
Or I've literally had a player come up to me and say, because they ran into a mind flare, oh, that's a CR so and so. I think there's a standard mind flayer is a CR7. We're too low to be fighting that.
Okay, if you're starting to quote challenge ratings, first of all, the D&D 5th edition challenge rating system is messed up.
Yeah.
Don't follow that. Second of all, do you read it for pleasure at night? Stop.
You've quoted it on here before. It's that gamers thing where the dude's walking back and forth and flogging.
Oh
the
yeah,
one dude.
the fighter is he's sitting there and he's got the monster manual's like red dragon armor class hit points and he's like rattling it off
and then
like,
he's getting flogged.
And he's getting flogged while he's like, okay, whoa, you need help. Or going to the military. Dang, man.
You have a DM that's like, bring these homebrew monsters out. Respect the DM's ruling. Trust your DM that he's actually not trying to kill you.
And he's just trying to make a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've said more than enough times. I've literally made a YouTube short about it with our thing. I am not trying to kill your character. I'm just trying to maim them heavily to where it puts the fear of gods into you.
I'm not trying to kill you. I'm just trying to give you PTSD.
Now, if I kill you, it's not because I was intentionally trying to do it, but sometimes it does happen, and I have killed Brent's character twice.
Yep, absolutely.
The other time was way too more effective than I anticipated them being.
That happens.
But you now have the badge of honor saying that you got intellect devoured.
Yes, I had my brain sucked out of my body, and the dude went in my head.
Yeah.
So I was like,
and then you watched your character tank the party.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, Nate's rolling good with my character. He's actually a badass.
My character's a badass.
It's too bad it's not when I'm playing him. God dang.
You guys are attacking all his strengths. Go for the weakness.
Yeah, attack the saves. And then what does that mean? He's a paladin. He has heavy armor. He's probably got a weak dex. Hint, hint.
You're trying to was it Shaun of the Dead of them? Just go around and just flog him with your bats.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't do that.
Stop it. God, tie him up. Hit him with a dex save, something. Fireball. God, no.
But when you're respecting this DM's ruling, or you're not trusting the DM, don't try and rules lawyer him either. Don't try and oh, hold on, the ruling should be this, and then you try and spend 5 minutes out of game trying to figure out how sneak works, because no one actually legitly, I think, knows how that ruling works in 5e.
Yeah, well,
I relatively do, but I still go off previous editions, and that's how it's ingrained in my head.
Yeah, it's literally ingrained in there. Yeah, it's just habit now.
It works this way, and I halfway get it right with the 5th edition ruling. Yeah. I've watched videos of how sneak works, and I do get it 75% right, but guess what? At my table, this is the way it works. Hey, tabletop gamers. Thank you for watching this episode of the Hermit's Homebrew. We come out with new episodes every Wednesday. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends as we continue to level up and grow.